Good morning. So this is the quiet time at my house. And whatever time you're listening to it, welcome. I'm really excited to give you a lot of value. The fact that I am doing this while my children are still asleep, my husband just left for work. He has an essential job. If you are watching this, know that I want to give you a ton of value. I want to help you shift and change some things in your life so that you can have that peace and that joy that can come from knowing your value. So let's just dive right in. I'm going to be fairly concise. So understand we're going to move quickly. All right. I want you to know that you don't have to live in any emotion that you don't want to. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff floating around, especially with the Rona virus that's going of overwhelm and stuck. And you don't have to live in that energy because you have the opportunity to shift and to change it. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard or overwhelming at some point in your day, but you don't have to choose into it. You don't have to stay there, right? So several years ago, I had an opportunity to, I was in, I don't know, elementary school, middle school, and I had an opportunity to go visit my cousins, and we decided we were going to go wading in the reservoir down where they lived. And we went out, and they lent me some sandals because I wasn't prepared to go play in the water. So they lent me some sandals, and we went out, and we were walking through. It was a really hot day. This is why we even chose to do this. And so we were looking for a place where we could easily get into the water. We finally found it. And as we're getting in, someone called over to us, "Hey guys, I wouldn't go in there. It's like so muddy. You don't want to play in that." We're like, we kind of do. It's hot. And so we climbed down the bank and we started going and wading out into the water. And as we started going, the mud would suck us. It's just, and we're like, well, maybe it's better further on. And the lady called again. She says, "Guys, I'd be really careful. We already lost a pair of shoes in there." And we didn't listen. We're like, well, it's got to be, maybe that's because she has little kids. Like she had just young, 2, 3, maybe a 5-year-old in there playing around her. So surely it's just because they don't have big enough kids. Like they're just too short. So we keep walking. And finally we got to a point and we're like, this isn't getting any better. Like it's getting worse, in fact. And so we turn around and we start coming back. And again, the mud's just, and at one point I stepped in and I went down to my knees. And I had this feeling of complete fear, paralyzation, and overwhelm. And I thought, I'm never going to get back. I'm going to be like the dinosaurs who like got stuck in the swamp and I can't move. And I threw up a prayer and I said, "Please help me." And my cousins, who were just a few steps ahead, reached back, grabbed my arm, and we were able to pull forward. And in the process, I lost the sandal, but we kept walking forward. And we finally got to dry land, and the lady comes and she says, "Did you guys have fun?" And we said, "It was fine." And we walked off, and I could hear her laugh as she saw that I had one shod foot. I only had one shoe because we didn't listen. We kept thinking that we were the exception. And rather than heeding the warnings that we were given, we thought we were better or that they didn't apply to us. How many of you are living in this feeling of overwhelm and you know that if you just do a little bit more, if you clean your front room one more time, or if you make everyone sit down and help you fold laundry, it's going to be better, right? It's got to be better. And every time you make everyone sit down and fold laundry with you, or you clean up your front room and you're angry because no one helps and you're all alone, and then you just sit in the overwhelm. and you know that everything that is going on is so hard. It's so heavy. There are people losing their jobs. There are people who are struggling that can't go into work until this is over. And there are people who don't seem affected by it, and that's not fair. There are so many things going on, and you sit in that overwhelm, and the more you sit, the more overwhelmed you get. And then all you want to do is cry. Not fair. And that's why I want to give you tools to know that you do not have to sit in this overwhelm. And when the voices come and tell you, you don't have to go in that mud, that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for a crystal clear spring that you can wander and play and splash in. You don't need to go in the muck for that. And you don't need to lose the things that aren't yours. You don't need to lose things that are yours that you value. You can choose a different path. So as we're feeling these emotions, there's certain energy that's attached to that. If you think about it, go into, think about going into like a baseball, basketball game, sorry, where there's a lot of that high energy and everyone's excited and we're all rooting for our home team and we're really involved in everything. Think about that energy and how exciting it is. Maybe you've even got some popcorn or, you've got people sitting next to you on the bleachers and everyone is so thrilled to be there. Everything is focused on your team winning that game. Think about that energy. It's a very high resonance. There's a lot of, especially if the team is good, there's a lot of pride and excitement. Versus, think about when you go to a church and you go in and there's a certain reverence to it. There's this undertone of peace and connection that you're looking for when you go there. If you aren't finding that, then you're not in the right place for you at that moment. So you need to find a way to find what you value. All right, so both of these have a very different kind of energy. They have a different purpose to them. Our emotions are the same way, right? So you think of overwhelm. If you are overwhelmed, this is the negative energy of survival. If you are stuck there, the only thing that you know how to do in that moment is survive. How many of you are in overwhelm? It's because at this moment, you don't know how to do anything but the step-by-step process that gets you through the day. So how do you get out of it? Well, I can tell you simple steps. You get up and you shower for the day and you make an effort to feel good, whether it's putting on makeup, dressing up, wearing a dress. If you're a woman, that's beautiful. And that gives you confidence that you don't necessarily have in sweats and a tank top. There's a difference in that energy it creates, and it will allow you to shift up from that survival into, you know what, if I can take that time for myself, I can shift this and I can feel good about myself, right? Okay, that's a really easy step. But what if you're to a point where you're like, I don't even want to get dressed. I don't care. No one sees me. It doesn't matter. That's where you need to start taking some new tools. And I'm going to give you one of those today. If you guys are interested in learning more of this and having some more tools in your pocket, I do want to extend the offer for you to be in my quarantine course starting next week. But If you are in that moment where you're just like, oh, it's so heavy, it's just, I don't want to do anything, then it's time to start communicating with your mind, body, and spirit. Because there's something there that's saying, I don't know if it matters. And if it doesn't matter, then there's no hope. And that's where we get into the overwhelm. So I want you to take a piece of paper and you're going to fold it in half. Okay, and I should have, let me grab another piece of paper here. So if you fold it in half, and you want to have something that you can tear out because you don't necessarily want to keep the negative around, okay? On the one side, you're gonna write down all the stuff that's weighing on your heart, okay? Maybe a friend of yours lost a job. Maybe they can't find toilet paper. Maybe there aren't enough diapers and you're switching to cloth. You know, what is it that is overwhelming to you? And as you write that down, you might have new thoughts come to you. Because what happens is we get all that negative out of our head and it starts making room for something else. So don't stop until you're done with the negative. If it keeps going, then keep going. And if you need to take a break, I would not do this for more than 15 minutes. Okay? That will put you back into overwhelm. So set a timer, list all the negative stuff that is weighing on your heart and mind. Get it out. And when you do that, you're going to fill up that page however far you need to. And for every negative thing, you're going to write the opposite of it, whatever the opposite is for you. So if you wrote, I can't find toilet paper, you say, there will be toilet paper at the store for me today. Because when you speak, it actually creates for you. So if it's so-and-so lost their job, they will find another job soon. Each of these points has a positive outlook to it if you are willing to open up your mind to it. For every negative thing, you create a positive. And when you do this, it opens up your mind and it tells it it's going to be okay. Because our mind is really, really good at its primary function. And its primary function is to keep us alive. And it will do the pattern that it has always done until tell it to do something new. Because it knows that that works. So if you're living in a negative situation, if you're being abused or if you're struggling with something, your mind will actually allow you to keep accepting that because it knows that you will survive it because you always have. Is that what you want to create? Create something that you want. Do it intentionally, do it consciously because you matter. Don't let someone else dictate how you live through this. It is your responsibility to become who you want to be. And now you have a tool that will help you to do that. Get out of the overwhelm. Don't stay there. Start seeing the positive things that can happen in your life, and you will start creating positive outcomes. And that is how you get out of overwhelm. Create positive outlooks. Now, if you want a little bit more direction, I've watched this and I've been thinking how can I help the most people? Because I see so much going on right now that I want to help you and I want you to have a difference in your life. I have been doing this I've been teaching my home alignment course for over a year. And typically I offer a 7-week course filled with a workbook and one-on-one interactions with my students. But in order to reach more people, I've decided to do a mini course. So you won't get the workbook with this, but so my primary program, I usually sell for $500. I am offering you a mini course. This is a 4-week course where we go through and teach you principles, we teach you techniques to get out of the different types of energies that you get stuck in. I teach you where they're showing up in your home. So it's really easy to recognize it and move through it. And I'm offering this mini course. Usually it would be a $297 value. For the next month, I'm offering it to you for $47 because I want you to have this information. I want you to be able to touch your life. This is something that will immediately help you get out of this stuck energy that this quarantine has brought on us. And it's something that can help you right now. So if you are willing to invest a little bit of time and a little bit of effort and resources towards this, I would love to have you in my course. It will start next Wednesday. So that's, I looked at the date. It will start on the 15th of April. I would love to have you be a part of that. If not, take these principles, start working through them because you matter and we are getting through this and we are going to have a beautiful life. Love to all, sending you light and have a beautiful day.